Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video, we are looking at Robinhood Markets. It is time for another update. And finally, we see some developments occur on this chart. And we could have done some updates since the previous video, but it wouldn't have been too consequential as nothing happening within these latest developments would have really suggested that our primary expectation of extending to lower prices was under a threat, right? We had some levels of resistance where if we broke them, sure, we would have had some additional data where a breakout would have been much more likely. We didn't even generate an initial 5-wave move to the upside, which would have allowed a potential trade setup and a confirmation that we wouldn't be looking for extensions to lower prices. We really had only formed a 3-wave correction, which is exactly what we would have expected to see, and we seem to have extended lower. So now we have some new data to track, we have some updated levels to provide, and here we are. And on this chart, we have been tracking this idea of a leading diagonal, meaning we are looking to build a 5-wave move to the upside, but within each of these subwaves, we only expect to build a 3-wave pattern, right? This means within the wave 1, we would track here an ABC structure, we have an ABC structure within this wave 2, and now we have something like an ABC structure within the wave 3, we expect an ABC within the wave 4 and the wave 5 to complete this overall movement to the upside. Other interpretations are technically possible, we could be looking for them, but this one actually provides us the deepest levels of support we could be tracking while still looking to build this as a 5-wave pattern. And I don't really trust the idea of an impulse in this structure. We could perhaps make it work, but I do not find it too reliable. And if you want to be a part of this journey as we continue to track these developments, this idea of an extension in the wave 4 and the wave 5, I would encourage you to subscribe as we will be here to provide any upcoming opportunities. But do expect that on this chart there is a good chance we will not get the most clear and likely setup, right? It is a diagonal structure, it doesn't always provide the most reliable opportunities, so just keep that in mind. Now on this chart we were actively tracking the idea of an impulse where we could have been looking even for quite substantial extensions in this white interpretation, but we did highlight it to be a not so likely outcome. Well, now we have even broken the area of support, and not only that, we have actually pushed into the wave 1 territory for this interpretation, which actually invalidates this structure. It was already a very fragile structure as within the wave 3 we didn't get to the ideal target, we barely exceeded the 100% extension, far from the 138.2% extension of the wave 1, and now we have the break below the area of support. It could technically work out within an extension of this wave 3 in yellow to have something like a wave C in this structure, but once again, we haven't even reached the ideal target within this wave 3. It is a very weak scenario, a very weak structure, so we are not going to focus on this interpretation really. Now, technically, as I was saying, there are other options that could allow some extensions, but based on the structure we have within this area, I personally find them unlikely to have that be the outcome. So, we have been focusing on this area of support in yellow that extends down to $24, where from this support zone we expect to form the reversal into a wave 5 to new all-time highs. However, for this we first need to identify a wave 4 correction complete, which, as I was saying, primarily we would expect to build an ABC structure, right? We have here a potential wave A, a wave B up here, and a wave C that could actually form a bottom relatively soon. Now, this is our primary scenario. We do not absolutely need to follow it through. There are always other options. The market sentiment can shift, sometimes even within diagonal structures, within the corrections, something like this wave 4, we do not get the entire wave C. Sometimes we get stuck tracking a WXY pattern, in which case a bottom could form sooner, but even then, I would like to see some indications, some structures that would suggest the bottom is in place, some levels of resistance broken. For example, if we break the area of resistance for a wave 4, I wouldn't really be able to reliably track such an extension, even though I could be tracking other scenarios. So primarily, this will be our focus, this idea of an ABC structure where within this wave C, I would have liked to actually see this to be a wave 4 and extend directly in a wave 5 to lower prices, but I actually believe we are looking at an extension of the wave 3 currently. I wouldn't expect this to form a bottom once this wave to the downside is complete. The structure does actually look like it prefers another low in this movement to the downside. I would consider this wave 3 to be an impulse, and I would have something like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I could consider even an additional low within this wave 3, but we can momentarily, at the very least, focus on this idea. I did want to provide you the area of resistance for the entire wave 3 in case it was necessary, but this would have been a slightly preferred interpretation for me, where yeah, currently we would like to see this wave 3 only form a bottom potentially within this latest development to the downside, and only after we either get the area of resistance for the larger wave 4 broken, or we complete the entire structure, will we have the possibility to consider this count to actually be full. Now, since we have extended lower, I would need to also adjust this larger area of resistance. Breaking the 50% retracement for such a structure would be our indication that a bottom would possibly be in place for this entire wave, yeah, possibly within the entire wave 4, but we will need to cover a corner case in such an interpretation, and we will do that in a moment, but firstly we will be going through this movement itself. Now, for the idea of having a wave 3 bottom in place, which technically would be a possibility, and looking for the wave 4, the last level of resistance would be at $89. We would like to see this level broken for an indication that the wave 4 and the wave 5 would not be happening anymore. But currently, I would be actually focusing on an even smaller time frame. I would prefer that this structure actually extends within one more low. So, I am considering this to be the wave 5 of the larger wave 3. And for the count of this structure, I would consider that we have 3 waves in place, right? We are overall tracking an impulse, so we are looking for a 5-wave pattern, but I would consider this to be an ending diagonal. And in this case, we are only tracking, once again, an ABC pattern within each of these subwaves. I wouldn't overthink the exact structure. We could allow the wave 1 to have bottom here, to have this as a wave 2 top, and this would be our wave 3 bottom. Now, we would expect a wave 4 and a wave 5 to have a clearly complete structure in this pattern, and under this assumption, we need to allow the wave 4 to retrace as high as the 61.8% retracement for this entire extension to lower prices, up to $73.6. Under the assumption that the wave 2 had topped here and the wave 1 had bottomed here, it's not absolutely necessary, we would notice that so far we have pushed into the 50% retracement, right? This seems to have been done within what likely seems to be a 3-wave pattern, nothing strongly suggesting extensions to even higher prices, but at the same time we have also seen a pretty nice reaction since this larger correction has taken place. It might see very easily an extension, we need to be open to this idea, and it has room for this pattern with no issues. If we manage to break above this level of resistance, I would need to consider that this wave 3 might have had a bottom in place and that the larger wave 4 would be currently forming, where again we can go as high as $89 before looking for a more substantial breakout. And for now, we won't focus too much on the smaller time frame. We are waiting for these developments to occur, and I will showcase what we can expect if we get a break even above the 50% retracement, as I was saying. Yeah, we have a corner case we need to account for, because breaking above this level of resistance doesn't automatically mean this wave to the downside is complete, as I can actually track this to be a leading diagonal as well. We have this orange interpretation, which we actually brought up in the previous video, where we have been tracking this to be a wave 3 to the downside instead. This is still a possibility, we can still track this structure, and as long as we do not form the wave 4 and the wave 5 in yellow, as long as we do not get a 5-wave pattern in this movement to the downside, we need to be prepared that we might see this as a larger 5-wave pattern. Now, if we get the wave 4 and 5 in yellow, I can no longer track this orange interpretation, because this orange scenario has to be within a diagonal structure. Sure, we could be tracking resistance levels even if we build the wave 4 and the wave 5, but not within the orange interpretation. And since we extended to lower prices once more, even within the orange scenario, we need to adjust the area of resistance, which goes as high as $103.4. Now, you may be wondering, why do we need to track this scenario? Well, we don't actually need to, but this allows us to look for a level of resistance where we know if we get a sustained break above this level, we would have a clear indication that this wave to the downside would likely be complete, that we would likely not be getting any extensions directly within this as a wave to the downside. Doesn't mean we cannot get a larger correction, a larger A, B, C structure, but it means that very likely this structure itself, this wave, would be complete. And this is about what we need to focus on this chart, right? We have the smaller time frame. As long as we can continue to track this idea of a wave 5 to lower prices, we can expect this wave 3 to go on, as long as we do not break the $73.6 level. And then if we do that, we are left with the larger structure once again. But on this chart, I do not have currently any clear indication that a bottom would be in place. I would still be preferring to extend to lower prices. I find that to be the much more likely outcome. And sure, I am open to being proven wrong, but as it stands right now, the structure isn't suggesting that a bottom would be in place, right? This is the key aspect of what we are tracking. These are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and if you enjoy our content and want to support us directly, check out our channel membership. And as a thank you for any of these actions, I would like to invite you to sign up to our channel newsletter, where you get access to our monthly top picks, where we identify for you high quality structures. Other than that, let me know what else you would like me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.